Greetings everyone. We're back. It is morning, and we're up here looking at discussing this morning estates. We talked about a fiduciary responsibilities, what a conservator is, their responsibilities and roles, and then we talked about conservatees. So now we're going to discuss estate. What is an estate? What does it comprise of? What is meant by an estate? The simple answer is an estate is all of the assets you own. So what is an estate? All of the assets you own. What is an asset? Let's talk about assets, because that is the estate. So some of the assets that you own probably right now would be a car. Many of us own homes, jewelry, cash in our bank accounts or credit unions or wherever we're saving money, stocks, bonds, various investments. So an estate is all of the things that you own that's important to you, that has value. So many people say, okay, so I have other things that have value. Maybe it's sentimental value. Is that part of my estate? Yes, it can be, because sentimental value can be a picture of your great-grandmother, a letter from your father, a note from your mom or grandmom, something passed down, again, jewelry, artwork. So sentimental assets or sentimental part of your estate can be considered assets as well. Usually when we talk about assets, there's a dollar amount placed on the assets. It can be valued. Like your house, we can do an appraisal and it can be valued. Your car, your jewelry, they have an appraised value. Artwork has an appraised value. Stocks and bonds has an appraised value. Sentimental value is different. Birth certificates, personal notes, cards, those type of assets, they're invaluable for most people. However, they all are a part of your estate. So you have your assets a part of your estate. Remember, that's very important, because you have to know what your assets are. Some people don't realize that shoes can be an asset. They may have a value, especially if they're vintage shoes or if they're antique shoes, which a lot of us do vintage shopping and we collect vintage items. They can have a dollar amount. Sentimental value also is very important, as we just discussed, which may or may not have a dollar amount. Sometimes it depends on who is the person famous that you have a note from. That can be sentimental value, that can have a dollar amount placed on it. So we have your assets that are part of your estate that have cash value. We have assets that are part of your estate that has sentimental value. So also important, liability. Liability is a part of your estate. So if you have outstanding debt, which are loans, outstanding loans, which can be a mortgage, credit card, car loans, other outstanding debts that you may owe to personal or private institutions. So your liabilities become a part of your estate and can be charged against the estate anytime, especially at the time of death. So we wanted to kind of go over what an estate is. So we know an estate is, number one, all of your assets. So there can be a value put on your estate based on your assets, especially if those assets can be appraised, like a home, a car, jewelry, artwork, stocks and bonds. The sentimental value is different. You may want to pass on a picture that's from the family from 50 years ago, 100 years ago, a fur coat that may not be worth very much to as far as value getting any money for it, but it means something to the family. So we have value that can be appraised, and then sentimental value, which may or may not be able to have an appraisal value, but it has a really deep-seated meaning for the family. Also, debt or liability, which is debt, from a car loan, a mortgage. Outstanding loans can be considered a part of your estate. So we wanted to go over that briefly, so that when we go in how to protect your estate, whatever you're putting into your estate, whether it's your clothes, your jewelry, your car, your home, your stocks, your bonds, your bank account, your sentimental value, how do you protect your assets? How do you protect your estate? Estate and assets are almost simultaneously used, except for the liability part, because estate in most terms are all of your assets. So liability becomes a negative asset. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about how to protect your assets. And thank you so much again. Did I say hello? Okay, hello and goodbye. And we thank you so much for listening to this video. When we come back, we're going to talk about something very important, and that's protection of all of your assets. Greetings and peace, and I look forward to coming back speaking with you soon. Thank you.